You're listening to the FA Cup on Talksport 2 with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly. Well, they were the pre-match thoughts of Mauricio Pochettino and his opposite number, Unai Emery. A lot of column inches, a lot of airtime. Scott Minto this season has been filled by Cole Palmer. 11 goals already. Got himself a couple here in midweek to make up for a rare off night in front of goal in the first leg of their League Cup semi-final. Is he Chelsea's best player at this moment in time?
I think so. I think he's been nothing short of sensational. And I was on the breakfast show this morning talking with Alan Bazil and Ray Parlour about just him. And, you know, the fact that he was willing to leave what was a treble-winning side and have since gone on to win 5 trophies in a calendar year. You know, they are and have been the best team in the Premier League. For me, the best team in Europe for the last few years, and should have won the Champions League more than once. But he was willing to leave to go to a Chelsea side that really are not the Chelsea of a few years ago, in complete disarray. I've talked many times about how I felt that the recruitment, while I understand the policy, I still feel they should have gone for more senior pros and therefore leaders as well. This is a young lad who hasn't played many games in the Premier League before this season. He's got into a very difficult atmosphere here at Stamford Bridge, and yet he's come out absolutely in fantastic form. And for me, we touched on England as well. If he carries on the way he is and Chelsea win 1, if not 2 trophies, and maybe finish in the top 6, then he would have played a big part in that, and I genuinely believe he should be on the plane for the Euros.
We are deep into the transfer window now, although at times it hasn't felt like it this month. A lot of speculation about Conor Gallagher. My latest information was that he is expected to stay here at Chelsea at least until the summer. Is he somebody that you feel your former club should be building their future around, or can you understand why, if they got a substantial offer, they'd be willing to part company?
It's been a quiet transfer window. Does that mean you'd be playing more golf than usual?
I wish.
No, I know you've been on top of things, and look, the answer to that question is I can't say more forcefully how Chelsea Football Club should not be selling Conor Gallagher. Look, would he be good enough to get in the Chelsea side of a decade ago? No. But is he one of Chelsea's most important players right now, and someone who, when things aren't going well, can lead the press, can put in a tackle, can add that bit of energy that not only helps his teammates on the pitch, but the fans off it as well? You know, I understand that the FFP and pure profit, but that would be absolute madness to sell one of your most important players right now at what is a difficult time, purely for FFP reasons. Interesting
that Armando Broja is left on the bench this evening, because I do understand that he's someone who possibly could move in the final week of the window. Talk of interest from Wolverhampton Wanderers, from Fulham, even from Aston Villa, tonight's visitors. If you were running operations here at Stamford Bridge, would you be tempted to cash in on Broja? Have you seen enough from him to suggest that he could be a proper number 9 for Chelsea?
Look, do I think he'll be the sort of Didier Drogba, Diego Costa? Well, there's been better players and bigger names than him who've not been able to fill that tag. Do I think he can do a job? Yes, in the short term, but I don't think he's quite good enough. Like Nicholas Jackson, who I've defended this season, you know, not what Chelsea need in terms of getting into not just the top 4, but going back challenging for Premier League titles, not just cup competitions, but the league itself as well. But would I sell him? No. Chelsea needs someone like him at the moment. Nicholas Jackson's away. If he's not playing well or getting injured, then he needs someone like him to go in. Or, of course, Cole Palmer can be that false 9 with Broja off the bench as an option.
Well, the 2 sets of players are out on the pitch down below us, just exchanging their pre-match handshakes. Absolutely incredible how quickly this stadium has filled up in the last 10-15 minutes. It was virtually empty, and there aren't too many empty seats now. A decent travelling contingent of Aston Villa fans away to our left. Ollie Watkins got 14 goals to his name this season, plenty of assists as well. Is he the man the Chelsea defence really have to keep quiet?
Oh, absolutely, and he's another one when we talk about the Euros. For me, and as long as he stays fit and just scores a few more goals between now and the end of the season, he will definitely be on the plane. For me, he's Harry Kane's understudy, and what I think, he's taken his game to another level. You know, I saw him at Brentford. He was a winger, then became a centre forward, scored lots of goals. Can he do it in the Premier League? At times he could, sporadically, and now he's become a lot more consistent. He's got that ability to run the channels, but he's also very football intelligent in terms of staying in between the sticks at times, getting in the right positions and having that composure in front of goal. So the fact of the amount of goals he scored, plus the assists he makes as well, there's no doubt about it, Chelsea will be worried about him this evening.
You are listening to the FA Cup on Talksport 2 with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. Please drink responsibly. Just looking down onto the pitch below us, Scott, and looking at the makeup of the Chelsea back four as they line up ready for kick-off. Looks like Gilchrist is going to play at right back, as he did, I think, against Preston in the last round. Badiashile looks like he shifted across the left back with Thiago Silva and Disasi at the heart of their back four. Yeah,
it's interesting. It's not ideal, but what you don't want is a youngster coming in and playing completely on the wrong side. As I say, Alpha Gilchrist, you know, there's a lot of people talking about him, including John Terry. I don't want to make comparisons like some have to John Terry. Let's have 5 really good years in the first team, then we can start talking. But he wants to be playing in a position he can be comfortable with, and that's right back.
Well, it was only 2 years ago that Chelsea made it all the way to both domestic cup finals, with the League Cup final and a date with Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool already in the bag. Mauricio Pochettino is in no mood to let the dream of an FA Cup final at the end of the season die here at Stamford Bridge this evening. And it is Chelsea who get us underway here on Talksport 2 in their blue jerseys, blue shorts and white socks, shooting from right to left in this first half, attacking the shed end. Aston Villa in their claret jerseys, with sky blue sleeves, white shorts and claret socks, are shooting from left to right. A reminder of the two teams. Chelsea having to make that late change. Gilchrist replacing the injured Colwill after he picked up a knock in the warm-up. So it's Petrovic in goal, the 20-year-old Gilchrist at right back, Badiashile the left back, Silva and Disasi at the heart of the Chelsea defence, Caicedo and Fernandes in front of them, and then Sterling, Gallagher and Madueke supporting Cole Palmer, who once again, as he did in the first leg against Middlesbrough in the League Cup, is asked to play as the false number 9. Villa have Martinez in goal, Cash, Conser, Longley and Moreno the back four, Tillemans, Kamara, Douglas Luiz and McGinn in midfield, Diaby and Watkins up front. By the way, Aston Villa have named Declan Rice's cousin on the bench. Long ball forward by Chelsea, seeking out Gallagher, and cleared away by Conser for an early Chelsea throw. Finlay Munro is the younger cousin of the Arsenal and England midfielder.
I think what we see throughout the game, what Chelsea will try and do is what we've just seen there. We know that Aston Villa have always tried to play with a high line, and some say it's crazy, but the fact they are where they are and they've won the amount of games shows how well drilled they are. But Conor Gallagher certainly making that run in behind, and the ball was nearly in for him.
Chelsea have the ball again inside the centre circle with the veteran Thiago Silva. He's been making noises about his future beyond the end of the season in recent days. I know a lot of Chelsea fans are keen for him to be offered a new contract, despite his veteran status, 39 years young. And the ball is played forward towards Sterling on this left-hand side, headed out of play by Matt Cash for another Chelsea throw level with a penalty area. Good start from the Blues.
Yeah, and you know what? Thiago Silva is still Chelsea's best defender, certainly at centre-half anyway. So if he wants it and he's able to, and the stats show that he can make the runs, and I'm not overly into the stats, but as long as Pochettino sees the way he trains and he's absolutely up for it, and sometimes he might not train every day, but that experience you just cannot buy in what is a very young side.
If he doesn't get a new deal, I'm sure Mrs. Silva will have a view on social media, not shy of giving her opinion. Here's Gallagher into the penalty area. He looks to cut it back for Cole Palmer, just behind Chelsea's false number 9, and mopped up by Boubacar Kamara. And Aston Villa have possession over on the far side, but it's a really positive opening to the game from Chelsea. And then a free kick conceded by Moises Caicedo, stopping the run of Douglas Luiz. And Caicedo actually seems to have hurt himself in the process. Chelsea's £115 million man is just down his haunches momentarily. 4 minutes gone here. Chelsea nil, Aston Villa nil. Don't forget, over on Talksport tonight, we've got another all-Premier League tie. Gets at about 8 o'clock as Tottenham host Manchester City. We'll keep you updated from events there. And the other Friday night ties in the FA Cup, as Villa make a first foray into the Chelsea penalty area, but Watkins never really had the ball under control, and it's collected by the goalkeeper Georgi Petrovic, who I think has impressed Chelsea fans since coming in for Robert Sanchez. Scott,
I think he's done well. You know, I still feel with all the money that's been spent, Chelsea haven't got a world-class striker or a world-class goalkeeper, but I thought Robert Sanchez did a decent job when he's in, made some mistakes, but I think Petrovic, since he has come in, it's going to be interesting when Sanchez is fully fit and desperate to play, who Pochettino is going to play, because I don't really see a difference between the two.
Is Thiago Silva, 20 yards inside Chelsea territory, carried over the halfway line by Disasi. A little bit of nifty footwork over on the far side by Madueke. Back to Badiashile on the left side of that Chelsea back four. Everybody in claret back inside their own half as it's swept out by Fernandes to Sterling, level with the penalty area. Sterling cuts in from the left-hand side onto his right foot, couldn't quite find Fernandes. Douglas Luiz helped it back initially to Cash, and now Emi Martinez, Argentina's World Cup winning goalkeeper, clears upfield, but picked up by Thiago Silva. Chelsea determined to take the game to Villa in these early exchanges and playing with the confidence of a side who have won their last 7 home matches, including that 6-1 demolition of Borough, live on Talksport in midweek. Sterling's got space on the left-hand side, but instead Badiashile just keeps possession.
It's a very different feel now at Stamford Bridge, isn't it, to early in the season, where after what happened last season and the spillover into the beginning of this as well, you know, it wasn't a good time to be a Chelsea player playing at home, but now they've found a way to get on winning ways, and it's important, I think, for the league that they win this as well and get through to the next round. I don't see it as a distraction for Chelsea. It might be seen as a distraction for Villa, but certainly not for Chelsea.
Martinez being put under pressure by Gallagher inside his own 6-yard box, but managed to pick out Clement Longley. He's another player who's been linked with a move away from Aston Villa during this transfer window, but looks like he will stay and continue his loan from Barcelona. Really good atmosphere being generated by those Aston Villa fans, packing out 2 tiers of the shed end away to our left. One of the beauties of FA Cup matches is that travelling supporters get a bigger allocation of tickets as the ball is played forward into the Chelsea penalty area. Maybe an opportunity to get a cross away here from Moreno. Couldn't beat the man at the near post, but still alive on the edge of the box. Gallagher slides in and dispossesses Tielemans. Aston Villa playing this very narrow midfield force, and there is emphasis, Scott, on both Matty Cash on the right-hand side and Moreno to get forward, and certainly Moreno did it there.
No, absolutely. Alpha Gilchrist will have to watch out for that. You know, Tielemans and McGinn on either side, it's certainly not wingers, and they will be looking to come inside, so the width needs to come for the full-backs, but they're quite happy to bomb on these full-backs, so, and nearly got in there, didn't he?
7 minutes gone, 0-0 at Stamford Bridge, and this FA Cup 4th round tie. If it is honours even, and there hasn't been a draw between these two in more than a decade, we will go to a replay at Villa Park. No replays from this point forward in the competition. In fact, the 5th round is now a midweek round, much to the displeasure of the purists. Thiago Silva knocks the ball forward but deep inside his own half, and him and Enzo Fernandez just exchanging passes amongst themselves. Villa well organised with everybody back behind the ball.
You know what, if Villa are going to play a sort of, or pack the midfield, then Chelsea need to get the ball wide and quickly. They're playing too slowly at the moment. Villa just in their shape of 4-4-2, too simple.
Well, that's another good ball launched upfield by Chelsea. Madueke got the wrong side of Moreno momentarily, still got the ball. Madueke drills in the cross low towards the near post, and it's turned behind by Longley for the first corner of the evening. It goes the way of Chelsea. And
that's what they need to do. You know, as I say, the space is 1 in behind, but also 2 out wide. Madueke is in and out. When he has come in, he's done well. He might be thinking that he should be playing on a regular basis. It's a great opportunity for him. Sterling, I think, was very good the other night. So for him on the left-hand side, Madueke on the right, got to make the most of it.
Short corner routine this time, over on the far side. Chelsea have still got plenty of blue shirts forward. Cole Palmer with his dancing feet almost got in behind the Villa back line before he plays it back out wide. Madueke into the penalty area, low cross again. Is blocked by the sea of claret jersey. I think it was Ollie Watkins actually back there defending the near post, and it's carried clear on the left-hand side by Diaby. Goalless with 9 minutes gone, but all of the pressure at the moment is being applied by Chelsea. As I say that, Villa come forward on the counter, and Diaby just about keeps the ball in play over on the far side. McGinn turning away from Madueke. Watkins has made a run ahead of him. McGinn driving towards the penalty area, keeping possession for Aston Villa. Here's Matty Cash on the edge of the box. Villa want the free kick. The referee, to his credit, Robert Jones, was going to play an advantage, then realised there wasn't one. And in the end, the foul on McGinn is given. I think a yellow card has been shown as well. So Enzo Fernandez or Thiago Silva?
Well, it was getting very close to the point where you can't really bring it back, but to be fair to Robert Jones, I think he timed that just about right. It was a definite foul. Great skill and run from McGinn. And as he laid it off, he was fouled, and he was looking to see if Matty Cash could take the advantage. And as I say, it was a good 4 or 5 seconds. And then he realised there was no advantage, and this is definitely the better position. 30 yards out, but it's bang in front, straight in front of goal.
10 minutes gone at Stamford Bridge. Free kick for Aston Villa, and Douglas Luiz can hit them from here. A very central position. A good 10 yards or so, maybe slightly more outside the area. McGinn is showing a bit of interest as well. Petrovic at the moment is hugging his right post, but I think just trying to organise the 4-man Chelsea wall. Anxious moments for the home fans here in West London. Referee just making sure the wall is the appropriate distance back. And Douglas Luiz sizing up his options here. It's one of those where you just look to strike the valve of the ball, Douglas Luiz, and try and get as much bend and power on the shot as possible. I think McGinn at this stage will be a decoy. In fact, he's played it short, McGinn into the area, and then crossed towards Tielemans, who heads it down into the ground and tipped over the bar by Petrovic. That was a really clever free kick from Aston Villa, and the Chelsea goalkeeper called into action for the first time.
Yeah, really well worked free kick. Everyone was wondering if he was going to try and strike it McGinn, and it was certainly within striking distance, but he played it out wide. Good cross from Moreno to the far post, and actually that should have been a cleaner header from Tielemans. It went down and it bounced up, and it gave Petrovic the time to tip it over the bar, but he was certainly free and inside the 6-yard box.
It's going to be a corner for Aston Villa on the far side, taken short by Douglas Luiz. McGinn to Diaby on the edge of the area. Diaby with a left-footed shot, takes a deflection, and it's going to be turned in from point-blank range by Douglas Luiz. The offside flag stays down, and Aston Villa, in fortuitous circumstances, take the lead at Stamford Bridge. The away fans go wild, and Douglas Luiz has put Aston Villa in front. The Chelsea players asking Robert Jones, the referee, if there was an offside. The initial effort from Diaby on the edge of the penalty area took a massive deflection that took Petrovic out of the game, and as it bounced for Douglas Luiz right in front of goal, he simply walked the ball into the net. Chelsea 0, Aston Villa 1.
Well, it's a brilliant start for Aston Villa, and you know what? Lucky goal, yes, but you make your own luck. And Diaby, the fact that he had so much time to actually get the ball on the edge of the box. Well, Petrovic has got the ball. We haven't been told anything yet from VAR, have we?
Well, it's just come up on the big television screens that a VAR review is taking place, and well, the information that they're relaying, not just to us in the media gantry, but also to the fans around Stamford Bridge, is that it's a potential handball. We haven't seen a clear replay as yet. My initial reaction, Scott, was that he may have been offside as the initial shot was taken, because of course it deflected off a Chelsea player. Therefore, if he was onside when the initial effort was hit, he couldn't be ruled offside. But did he use his hand, Douglas Luiz, to control the ball?
Well, it's very interesting, and we haven't got replays here, so we don't know. We're waiting on VAR, and absolutely, if you'd have said to me the VAR checking it, I would have thought possibly for offside as well. So clearly he was onside, because they are checking for handball. He should have been able to control that properly. He had time. Petrovic was, you know, on one side of the goal. The ball was on the other. Wow.
And the Roar will tell you that the VAR review has very much gone in Chelsea's favour. The goal has been ruled out for handball, and it remains Chelsea 0, Aston Villa 0, and that is an almighty let-off for the League Cup finalists.
Wow, that is a massive, massive let-off for Chelsea. And again, I'd love to watch it to see what happened. Diaby allowed far too much time at the edge of the box, and that's the biggest problem for me. Yes, there was a deflection, a little bit of luck, and obviously Chelsea have got the luck now with it being handball. You cannot allow someone like Diaby to have that amount of time and space. Yeah, you can actually, we are being given a replay now. It's a Chelsea defender who's headed the ball from Diaby's shot. It's bounced down, and Douglas Luiz, it has come up and hit his arm. So I don't necessarily blame Douglas Luiz in that sense. Very difficult because it happened very, very quickly, but Chelsea have got away with that one.
Well, it would have been totally against the run of play, but it all came from that free kick that was clumsily conceded on the edge of the penalty area. Clever routine leading to the corner. It's a well-worked corner kick as well. They are one of many teams now, Aston Villa, that have a designated set-piece coach, and those last two efforts were straight off the training ground.
Well, I think as well as Chelsea have started in terms of ball possession, they certainly need to be careful and wake up to the fact that Villa are very good at set pieces, very clever, take the initiative. They've already done it with the free kick and the corner. Just cannot allow someone like Diaby on the edge of the box. Chelsea got away with that one.
Really lively opening 16 minutes here on Talksport 2. Chelsea 0, Aston Villa 0. In the fourth round of the FA Cup, this all Premier League tie. Confirmation, by the way, Thiago Silva picking up a yellow card after the challenge on the edge of the area that led to the free kick. Here's Diaby trying to bring the ball under his spell, just outside the box, but one back by Enzo Fernandez, and he pokes it down the line for Sterling. Chelsea looking to counter-attack here. Sterling just slows it down and allows Villa to get players back in position, but he still found Fernandez in the left wing position. Oh, and a brilliant take by Palmer. Madueke with a shot. Excellent save by the legs of Martinez. That would have been a sensational team goal. The control from Cole Palmer was absolutely ridiculous.
But again, that man is loving being the central part of the pitch. I thought for a second he was a little bit too casual and Moreno was going to come and take the ball off him, but he didn't. Was able to realise exactly where Madueke was, and he laid the ball perfectly, and look, you can say he's hit the target and it's a good save for Martinez, but I think Madueke's got to make sure he bends it so Martinez has no chance whatsoever. Has got to hit the back of the net.
17 gone, Chelsea 0, Aston Villa 0, but Emi Martinez called into action for the first time to keep out Madueke, looking for his fourth goal of the season. Chelsea will see that as an opportunity they went begging, because he was one-on-one.
Absolutely, really good play from Raheem Sterling first and foremost, and Enzo before that. Good ball from Enzo to Cole Palmer, who does exceptionally well, as we say. And I just think when you're on the right-hand side and you're on your left foot, you really need to, as you're approaching the ball, really important to get your body in the right position. I'm not quite sure Madueke was able to come from a certain angle where he could have just bent it almost outside the far post for it to bend in.
Palmer again with a wonderful piece of skill on the edge of the area, sets himself up for a left-footed shot. It's a tame one in the end, straight into the arms of Martinez, but the little flick and pirouette to get away from Moreno again shows you the confidence is oozing through the veins of Cole Palmer at this moment in time. He will really fancy his chances of being on the plane for the Euros come the end of the season.
Yeah, do you know what? He's one of those players that they're not the quickest, so the fact that they can get away from players. I played with Paolo Di Canio and Gianfranco Zola, who are kind of very similar players. Not necessarily lightning quick, but they were very sharp, and the first yard or two was in the head. Great skill, ability to get away from a defender. It just reminds me.
Oh, and Palmer has been past the ball in the area, and his shot is saved by the legs of Martinez. It's a massive let-off for Aston Villa. Cole Palmer really should have scored. It would have been a gift from Clement Longley with a blind back pass back to his goalkeeper. Never enough pace on it, and Palmer denied. Two saves from Martinez in the space of a few seconds to keep Villa at 0-0. Here's Gallagher turning away from Douglas Luiz, finding Madueke out on the right-hand side. His cross towards the far post. It's smothered behind in the end by Martinez. Aston Villa under considerable pressure all of a sudden.
Well, it's all Chelsea at the moment, and it was quite similar, although it's probably even too close to Martinez, to the finish that he had here on Tuesday night against Middlesbrough. and he again didn't quite get the ball out from under his feet. Could have easily have played Conor Gallagher in, he was in a better position, but I understand why he shot. But once you take that decision to shoot, again you have to hit the back of the net. A couple of great chances for Chelsea now.
20 minutes played on Talksport 2. No goals, but plenty of goalmouth action in the first quarter of this game. Chelsea have a corner on the left-hand side in front of the travelling Villa contingent of supporters. Madueke with a delivery, headed away by Cash at the near post, and then brought down by Palmer midway inside the Villa half. He goes all the way back to Caicedo on the edge of the centre circle. Here's Gallagher. Chelsea probing here. Villa have got a line of 7 players camped on the edge of their own box just at the moment. Sterling breaks into the penalty area through the legs of Kamara, tried to cut the cross back, and John McGinn, the skipper, back there to turn the ball behind for another Chelsea corner, their third of the game already.
Yeah, I just wonder whether Raheem Sterling just take a touch and then just whip it across the 18-yard box or inside the 18-yard box, where defenders hate to defend against. Once he didn't, went past his player first of all, then have a shot. Just held on to it too long. As good play for McGinn tracking back.
Corner from the opposite right-hand side, this time the far side, as we look right from the back row of the main stand here at Stamford Bridge on this surprisingly warm evening actually in West London. Palmer with the opportunity to cross from the far side, having taken the corner short. Sterling does cross, and it's blocked on the edge of the box by Cash, who has gone down having taken a whack in the face. The referee's not spotted it yet, and Villa surprisingly didn't knock the ball out of play. He's still down, Matty Cash, and still play continues with Enzo Fernandez on this near side, trying to get the better of Douglas Luiz. In the end, he wins a throw right in front of Mauricio Pochettino, his manager, and now Matty Cash will get the opportunity for some treatment. 0-0.
You know what, this is a very different Chelsea side now to the one earlier in the season, isn't it? The inconsistent one, very much on the front foot. Yes, Villa have created a couple of chances through some very good set pieces, obviously stuck the ball in the back of the net, was handball, but Chelsea have been the better side. They're playing with a higher intensity, and at the moment Aston Villa just hoping to keep a clean sheet up until half-time.
3 more live FA Cup commentaries coming your way tomorrow across the Talksport network. Ipswich Maidstone is a 12:30 kickoff over on Talksport. Can the non-leaguers spring a real upset against Kieran McKenna's Championship high flyers? At 3 o'clock on Talksport 2 we have Everton against Luton. Sterling into the penalty area here. Cash with a block there, screaming for handball as Cash allows his goalkeeper Martinez to collapse on top of the ball. The referee at this moment is not interested. At 7 o'clock tomorrow night, Fulham Newcastle live on Talksport. And then on Sunday, the small matter of a Black Country derby, 11:45 kickoff here on Talksport. Wolverhampton Wanderers, the visitors to West Bromwich Albion.
Some game now.
Haven't won there since 1996. I was at Bournemouth Swansea last night. Ewan Roberts was working for the Welsh media. He scored a hat-trick the last time Wolves won on enemy soil. I said, you must have been a busy boy this week, fielding media inquiries. Indeed he was. Here's Kamara, winning it back from Fernandez on the halfway line. Forward to Watkins with room to turn on the edge of the Chelsea penalty area. Crowded out of it, Watkins, but still Villa on the attack with Douglas Luiz. He plays it out to the left-hand side of Moreno. He's really made that fullback spot his own, Moreno, in recent weeks. Here's Konsa coming forward. Out to Cash on the right-hand side. He was trying to pick out Diaby the first time ball. Diaby had rather switched off momentarily, and Thiago Silva clears the touch for a Villa throw.
Yeah, it was unlucky. Right idea, just a little bit too hard into Diaby. Right idea for Matty Cash, but this is better for Aston Villa, just trying to get the ball in Chelsea's half, relieving the pressure of the defence, because it's been all Chelsea so far.
Cash with a long throw into the penalty area, looking for Watkins, cleared by Thiago Silva, and then prodded away to the halfway line by Fernandez, where Longley will collect for Villa. 0-0 the score, 24 minutes gone here. They're underway over on Talksport in the 8 o'clock kickoff. Tottenham against the holders Manchester City. Long punt upfield from Aston Villa, nodded down by Thiago Silva, but collected by Diaby, who was being manhandled by Badiashile. It's another Aston Villa free kick within shooting range on the edge of the box.
Yeah, stay awake Chelsea defence. We know how good Aston Villa are on set pieces. I do get the feeling where it's just a little bit too right than what they would ideally like, but someone like John McGinn on his left foot. don't think he's going to have a shot here. A little bit out of his range, but it'll be interesting to see if he dinks the ball or just tries to test Petrovic and see if someone like Ollie Watkins can run on in and hope there's a rebound.
Well, they've not been shy at committing men forward here, Aston Villa. Only Emi Martinez, the goalkeeper, who's all the way up on the halfway line, is inside the Villa half away to our left. Suggests that this will be a cross as opposed to a shot. There are 3 Villa players in conversation. Tielemans has just been waved away by Douglas Luiz, so it's him and McGinn now waiting to take the free kick. And Tielemans has gone to stand right in front of Petrovic, the goalkeeper. He's in an offside position, but no doubt he'll come back onside as soon as the kick is taken. And again, you can see this is a routine that clearly Villa have been working on at their training ground. And it's a short ball to McGinn, and he drives it left-footed high over the bar.
Yeah, exactly the right thing to do. Again, it's one of those, can you shoot from a dead ball? Actually, if you could get an extra yard and it's moving a bit, then that would be perfect, and it'd be perfect for a left footer. So I was sort of wondering whether he'd try and put the cross into the far post or do exactly what they just did. I think it was the right thing, and John McGinn, you know, with the wonder of a left foot that he's got, he'd be disappointed he didn't keep it down.
This is the first time that Aston Villa have made it through to round 4 in 8 years, would you believe? In fact, since they reached the final, losing to Arsenal back in 2015, they've only won 2 FA Cup ties, Aston Villa.
That's poor, that, isn't it? I know they've been in the Championship. I covered them enough times in the Championship, but a club the size of Aston Villa, I thought they'd done better in the FA Cup than that.
They got absolutely battered in that final as well, didn't they, by Arsenal? Was it 6-1 at Wembley? 0-0 here, 26 minutes gone. You're listening to Talksport 2 on a busy night of FA Cup 4th round action. Plenty of games coming your way over the course of the weekend. Our live and exclusive offering, you won't find it anywhere else on national radio, is Newport County against Manchester United. That's live on Sunday afternoon. Who'd have thought Eric Ten Hag's future at the start of the season could come down to a trip to Rodney Parade, as Chelsea come forward with Sterling, and Martinez had an excellent starting position and he clears it away for a throw.
Absolutely nailed it there. It was his starting position that gave him the ability to then come out and just kick the ball out, because Raheem Sterling would have been in otherwise.
No goals in the other 7:45 kickoffs so far. Bristol City 0, Forest 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Coventry 0, and goalless over on Talksport. 10 minutes gone. Spurs against Manchester City. 0-0 here at Stamford Bridge. Villa have had the ball in the net, but Douglas Luiz's very close range effort ruled out for a handball following a VAR check, and Martinez has made 2 good saves with the feet, denying first Madueke and then Cole Palmer seconds later. Caicedo back to Enzo Fernandez, or Thiago Silva rather, and it's a raking pass from the Brazilian out the right hand side, where 20-year-old Gilchrist made a good run, but the pass is overhit and Villa have a throw.
And that's where everyone talks about the Villa high line and, you know, how dangerous it is, but actually it needs to be an inch perfect ball when you're playing from, or one of the centre halves is playing that, a crossfield ball, almost one of your golf shots, Crookie, with a little bit of spin coming in behind as well. So it's a difficult thing to do. So it sounds as if an easy thing to do, just put it in behind the Villa defence. Well, as we've just seen, it's not the easiest thing to do in practice.
What have you made of Gilchrist so far in the first 28 minutes?
Solid. I don't think he's touched the ball too much. A couple of times Moreno's got in behind him, but he's managed to sort of get back. But yeah, you know, he's tried to get forward when possible, and I saw him against Preston, covered the game for Talksport, and I thought it was a little bit more than solid in that game. So yeah, I would imagine this will give him a lot of confidence if he can have another good game here.
Chelsea coming forward down the right. Gallagher plays the ball in field for Caicedo. Gallagher wants it back out over on that far touchline. Madueke takes over. 3 Chelsea shirts if they decide to put the ball into the box, but they've gone all the way back into the centre circle and will build from the back with Thiago Silva once more. To Sassi with the pass slid out that right hand side of Madueke. Now it's back with Sassi just inside the Villa half. All of the outfield players in Villa territory at this moment in time. This is Badiashile, the makeshift left back for the home team. He finds Sterling, who can run at Matty Cash and make his way into the penalty area. Sterling, and then just taps the ball short for Fernandez on the edge of the box. Again, Villa defending manfully. Very well drilled under Unai Emery. They've gone all the way back to the halfway line of the Sassi this time, Chelsea.
Do you know what? They missed out on an opportunity of just whipping the ball in there, Chelsea. And I'm all for the passing play and not locking long. But sometimes when you get that opportunity to put the ball in a corridor of uncertainty for Villa defenders, just do it and see what happens.
There's Gallagher taking on Longley over on the far side. Plays it short to Gilchrist. Now Thiago Silva on the edge of the centre circle. They kept the ball for a prolonged period here, Chelsea, but not really doing a lot with it at the moment. Gallagher picks it up again over on that far right touchline. It's with Caicedo now right in the centre of the Villa half. Thiago Silva again, furthest man back of the outfield Chelsea players, is allowed to run into Villa territory. He's sprayed out to Sterling on this left-hand side. Good battle developing between him and Matty Cash, and Sterling's found Palmer. Clever run to the near post. Palmer cuts it back towards Madueke, and from point-blank range he shoots straight at Martinez. Another well-created opportunity that maybe Chelsea should have done better with. Here's Sterling, brings it down on the edge of the area. Up against Cash again. Fernandes drops deep, and then his pass is half cleared by Douglas Luiz, and a wayward effort from Madueke just inside the area. Slices that right-footed shot horribly wide.
Well, do you know what? Chelsea have impressed me in this, first 30-odd minutes. Yes, Aston Villa have put the ball on the back of the net. They've created some really good set pieces, but going forward, they look very, very dangerous. Again, down that left-hand side with Sterling and then Cole Palmer. Thought he got a nudge and maybe could have gone down. He didn't. He stayed on his feet. He put the ball inside, and I just wonder whether Madueke got a clean touch on it. He wasn't quite able to. He was certainly under pressure from the defender, and in the end it bounced off Martinez. It was a decent save.
Villa playing the ball long up towards Ollie Watkins on the halfway line. Bit of a wrestling match between him and Disasi. The referee hasn't given the free kick, much to Villa's frustration. Certainly seemed to be pulled to the ground there. Watkins, who hasn't seen too much of the ball in the opening 32 minutes. Still 0-0 here on Talksport 2, and Chelsea certainly have had the bulk of the chances. Fernandes sweeps the ball out to the right towards Gilchrist, who lets it run for Madueke. He can't keep it in play. Switched off there, and it's an Aston Villa throw. You're listening to Chelsea against Aston Villa in the FA Cup on Talksport 2 with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly. Mauricio Pochettino now right on the edge of his technical area, urging his team on a couple of Spanish Cups as a player. Won the French Cup soon after taking over at Paris Saint-Germain, as he was at pains to point out in the press conference this week. I think that reputation as a bit of a serial loser is becoming a source of agitation. Here's Madueke on the far side for Chelsea, prodding it forward. Gallagher timed his run, should have cut the cross back for Cole Palmer. He went for the spectacular, and it's an easily save at the near post for Martinez.
Do you know what? I think he tried to cross that. It was just a really bad cross. Really well-timed run. And he looked up. Cole Palmer was free. He was the closest one to the goal. And he wasn't in an offside position. It was a simple pass for someone like Gallagher. And, the execution, what a chance. And Chelsea fans will be hoping it doesn't play out like it did earlier in the season, where they were very good in the first half, created lots of chances, couldn't score, and were hit by the sucker punch by Villa in the second half.
Caicedo has just been caught there by Ollie Watkins. I have to say the reaction of the former Brighton man was very theatrical. It is a free kick, but no more than that. Pochettino having his say. Unai Emery just to the Argentines' left is stood, hands in pockets, all in black. Maybe he won't be too concerned about the fact his team are giving away a lot of territory because of what happened here in the Premier League. Here's Madueke, right-hand side, trying to cut into the penalty area. Good defending by Moreno, forcing Madueke in the end to run the ball out of play, and it's a goal kick for Aston Villa, and it stays goalless.
Yeah, it's not easy for full-backs nowadays when you're playing against the inverted wingers, if the inverted wingers are quite happy to go not just on the inside but the outside as well, and Madueke is. So Moreno certainly did very well, because Madueke did try to come on the inside there, and he just read that one. 74% possession though for Chelsea, and they've certainly been the better side, creating more chances, but Villa more than happy to do this away from home, especially in the first half.
11 minutes of the first half to play, and still we await the first goal. Not just here, but up and down the country. A busy night of FA Cup fourth round action. Started last night, of course. Bournemouth 5 up at half-time. Managed to add to their tally in the second half, but comfortably swept past Championship Swansea. I think I'm right in saying there can be a maximum of 10 Premier League teams in the fifth round, so an opportunity for some of those lower ranked teams to go deep into the draw. Here's Madueke. Good run into the penalty area, cuts the cross back along the 6-yard line, and nobody in blue could get on the end of it, and it's cleared away by McGinn.
But that's where they're dangerous, Chelsea. That's where the space is, both on the left and the right-hand side, with Sterling and Madueke, and Palmer coming across on either side as well. Talked about how it's not your typical 4-4-2. The two wide players come inside. They're not wide players. They are central midfielders. So therefore you try and do the 2v1 against the fullbacks. Chelsea doing that well, but just not quite able to get that final ball in and stick the ball in the back of the net.
I guess they wanted to add more natural width. They do have Leon Bailey and Nicolo Zaniolo on the bench. Aston Villa, both sides with a number of young players in their contingent. As in comes the cross again into the Villa penalty area. Fernandes couldn't get there, and it's smuggled away from goal by Matty Cash, but good play again over on the right-hand side. Once again, Cole Palmer right at the heart of it, and Chelsea have a corner.
Yeah, again, I talked about the high line and how the ball needs to be inch perfect. To be fair, the runs are inch perfect as well as the balls now, and Chelsea are getting in continuously in behind the Aston Villa defence.
Short corner, maybe here for Chelsea, because Palmer has gone across to join Madueke on the far side, but he does play it into the penalty area. It's a really disappointing ball once again. Cleared by Cash, and then Palmer flicks it over the head of Moreno. And Sterling into the area. Good defending by Cash. It'll be another Chelsea corner. They've had 5 now in the opening 37 minutes, still goalless, but they are knocking on the door here.
Madueke's just said, "You take the corner, Cole Palmer." I don't quite have confidence in myself.
Certainly Cole Palmer is not lacking in confidence. It's been a brilliant start to his Chelsea career, following that somewhat surprise summer move from Manchester City. Palmer whips it in, left-footed, and Martinez in no man's land, and it's Gilchrist with a header. I think the whistle had already blown for a foul, but that would have been some moment for the 20-year-old. In the end, he nodded tamely into the arms of Martinez.
Well, I don't know if that was a foul. Martinez came out. He's nicking an extra couple of yards now as well, but the ball came to Gilchrist. It's the right idea, but very difficult to kind of head it and loop it over someone when they can easily get back 3 or 4 yards. It's one of the very few mistakes that Martinez has made in this game.
And Scott Minto, part of Chelsea's triumphant 1997 FA Cup winning team, back when they weren't necessarily accustomed to winning the volume of trophies they've had over the last couple of decades.
Rubbed that in, didn't you?
Is that fair?
Harsh but fair.
I know for a lot of Chelsea fans of a certain age, that team of around that era is still their favourite. The likes of Vialli, Leberth, Zola, you've mentioned already.
Yeah, Mark Hughes, Wisey,
Eddie Newton.
Eddie, the initial, the original Makalele. Some lad Minto at left back as well.
They have won this competition 8 times, Chelsea, but not since 2018. As Madueke again looks to get in behind Moreno. It's been an intriguing contest, but he did well there, the Spaniard, and maybe Villa can try and counter. McGinn with the little knock-in feel for Kamara, but they can't get out. Well won on the halfway line by Badia Shield. Palmer lets it run under his studs, looking for Gallagher. In comes Longley, and now McGinn over the halfway line, trying to bulldoze his way through. McGinn plays it out to the left-hand side. Very intelligent ball to Moreno, perfectly weighted. Tillemans linking up with Moreno on the far side. And apart from the disallowed goal, Villa haven't really tested Petrovic in this opening 39 minutes.
No, there's been a couple of very good set pieces, but no, apart from that, it's been all Chelsea. Here's a question for you as well, one for producer Sal as well, see if he knows. The goalkeeper in that 1997 FA Cup final for Chelsea.
Frode Grodas.
Oh, I've told you that before, haven't I?
I think I've heard you use it on Talksport in the last couple of weeks, actually. Got to get some new material.
Was that in the previous round against Preston?
I think it was.
Sal's giving me the thumbs up. It's nice to know you listen to me, Brookie.
5 minutes remaining. I wouldn't have got it otherwise, by the way, in this first half. 0-0 in this all Premier League encounter on Talksport 2. It's Villa in possession with Kamara. Centre of the Chelsea half. Kamara away from Fernandes. It was a lazy challenge from Enzo Fernandez, and Villa continue to come forward. Douglas Luiz on the edge of the box. Into Tielemans, who gets it out from under his feet. Finds Kamara. Now McGinn. Chelsea with everybody bar Cole Palmer behind the ball, and Palmer is joining the rest of his teammates. McGinn in the right wing position. Can he get across in here left-footed? Make it very difficult, Chelsea, for Villa to play their way through them. Kamara again, but it's all the way back to the halfway line, and Ezri Konsa. Come on Chelsea is the cry from the home fans. Longley out to his left. Tielemans, who scored a winner in an FA Cup final for Leicester City, plays it back to Konsa inside the centre circle as we move rapidly towards halfway in this game. Cross dinked in towards Diaby. Watkins tries to help it round the corner, but it's cleared away by Thiago Silva. Haven't seen enough of Ollie Watkins, Scott, so far.
No, he's been starred the service so far, and you know, people can turn around and say we're not seeing enough of him. Well, he can turn around and say, well, you haven't given me the ball. You know, they haven't had the ball. In terms of possession, it's been unbelievable. It's still over 70% for Chelsea in this first half.
Yeah, 33% for Villa. Chelsea with the bulk of the attempts on goal as well. Madueke and Palmer will both feel they should have done better when they found themselves one-on-one with Emi Martinez on both occasions. The goalkeeper bowed Villa out of trouble, saving with the legs. Here's Thiago Silva inside the centre circle. 3.5 minutes of the first half to play. Are we going to get an opening goal before half-time? It's a disappointing ball by Gilchrist as Madueke just checked his run. It rolls behind, and it will be a goal kick for Villa, who themselves are 7 times FA Cup winners. Here's a quiz question for you, Scott Minto.
Oh, no.
When did they last lift the trophy? Oof. I've not used that one on Talksport before.
Okay, next time you ask me, I'll know the answer.
1957.
Was it really?
Quite incredible.
Oh. These two played obviously in the 2000s, didn't they?
Yeah. Here's Fernandes bursting towards the penalty area. Sterling tries to knock it around Matty Cash, but Martinez again quickly off his line and bravely in at the feet of Raheem Sterling, and collects cleanly for Villa. Bowls it out short to Douglas Luiz. I'm not necessarily sure he wanted it. He looks to release Diaby, and this time it's Petrovic, who is a long way off his line to play sweeper keeper for Chelsea. Fernandes has been sent tumbling by Kamara, so a free kick for the Blues, 5 yards inside their own half.
That's a ridiculous foul from Kamara. Fernandes wasn't going anywhere. In fact, he had his back to goal, so just could have shepherded him out. Now, Villa would be desperate, not desperate, but be more than happy for the half-time whistle to go. Chelsea have been by far and away the better side, but they'll be happy at 0-0, Villa.
Here's Sterling up against Cash again, and Cash positioned himself in the right place to just hook the ball clear and out for a throw, level with the 18-yard line on this near left side. Unai Emery, hands behind his back. And he's just looking a little bit pensive as we tiptoe towards the whistle. Here's Caicedo. Chelsea looking to get their noses in front before half-time. Madueke into the penalty area, dancing feet from him again. Villa have got a lot of bodies back, and Madueke forced to play it back to Gilchrist, and then crosses straight into the arms of Martinez, and once again the end product is disappointing.
Very disappointing. You know, he's got plenty of time there to look up on his left foot.
Foul given against Boubacar Kamara. Again, it was coming together with Enzo Fernandez, and a free kick for Chelsea right on halfway in the final minute of the first half. 0-0 the score, as it is at Ashton Gate, Bristol City against Forest, at Hillsborough, where Coventry are the visitors, and over on Talksport, Tottenham 0, Manchester City 0. That game is only about half an hour old. Where is the first Friday night FA Cup fourth round goal going to come? Here's Disasi. Chelsea have had chances. Gallagher times his run, crosses in towards Cole Palmer, and Palmer had it stolen away. Excellent defending by Konsa. It's going to be a Chelsea corner. It could have been another chance at goal for Cole Palmer.
Yeah, really good defending from Konsa, but fantastically clever play from Cole Palmer. He was in an offside position, but he knew the ball wasn't coming to him. So by the time the ball went out wide, Konsa had to catch him up by 2 yards. He did it.
We're into 3 added minutes to the end of the half. Short corner into Madueke. Out to the edge of the box. Sterling with a cross, and it's bundled goalwards by Badiashile, but straight into the arms of Martinez. Douglas Luiz is down injured, and the referee is just coming to attend to him. 0-0.
Yeah, I think as good as Chelsea have been, they will be frustrated. They've not been able to score. They've created some really good chances, played well. As I say, it'll be in the back of their mind, certainly with the Stamford Bridge faithful as well, what happened earlier in the season. We talked about Ollie Watkins hardly touching the ball. Well, he didn't touch the ball at Stamford Bridge earlier in the season until he stuck the ball in the back of the net, and I think that's certainly a worry for Chelsea. Got to stay alive, make sure defensively they're going to be very, very strong. But you have to say they've been by far and away the better side in terms of, you know, if it was a boxing match, they'll be winning on points.
9 years since Chelsea last suffered an FA Cup fourth round defeat. In fact, they've won 40 of their last 47 FA Cup ties here at Stamford Bridge. That's the size of the task that is facing Aston Villa, despite the fact they're 12 points ahead of the hosts in the Premier League table. They've played 90 seconds of 3 added minutes. 0-0 the score. Longley again has given it away on the edge of the penalty area. Gallagher can't make the most of it though, and it's volleyed away upfield by Moreno. Had to be won by Badiashile because Diaby was lurking. And here's Sterling now, cutting in from the left-hand side onto his right foot, but runs into traffic in the form of Kamara, and he's released McGinn, and Villa might counter him. McGinn playing the ball infield for Douglas Luiz, puts it through the legs of Caicedo. McGinn has found Diaby, only Watkins to aim at in the centre. Diaby plays it to the edge of the box, and it's lifted over the bar by Tielemans. Brilliant move, poor finish.
Fantastic move from Aston Villa from back to front. Really good play in midfield. There was a nutmeg in there as well. And he got inside the box, Diaby, and played it across, bit of a cutback. And again, Tielemans, Aston Villa not had many chances at all, but when you get a chance like that, you have to hit the target. If the goalkeeper makes a save, then so be it. Really well worked piece of work by Aston Villa. And in the end, the shot didn't get what it deserved.
Well, that's just a warning sign for Chelsea that despite their dominance in terms of possession, despite the fact they have created almost all of the chances to this point, that Aston Villa do pack a punch on the counter. They do have technically very gifted players. I'm sure that will be the message from Mauricio Pochettino as the teams go off in a few seconds for half-time. 0-0 the score. McGinn, ball forward to Tielemans again. Diaby had made a good run ahead of him. Tielemans couldn't find him, and it will be cleared away now by Chelsea. And there is the half-time whistle. Well, no goals, but no shortage of entertainment. Aston Villa thought they'd scored when Douglas Luiz walked the ball into the net after Diaby's effort had been deflected into his path, but that was ruled out following a VAR review for handball. Chelsea have had a couple of golden opportunities. Madueke and Cole Palmer both found themselves one-on-one with Emi Martinez. Neither could apply the finish. And I think at half-time, Scott Minto, Mauricio Pochettino will be pleased but frustrated, and Unai Emery might be relieved that it's still 0-0.
Absolutely, yeah. I think Chelsea were by far and away the better side, although they could have been hit by a sucker punch just on half-time, but they've created lots of chances. You know, Madueke definitely should have done better. Cole Palmer has to score there when he's got a one-on-one with Martinez, who, to be fair to him, showed why he is such a very good goalkeeper, a world-class goalkeeper. I mean, if he was down the other end, then perhaps Chelsea would be further up the table, but he's kept Aston Villa in it, there's no doubt about it. 0-0, could go either way, this one.
Yeah, big second half to come here at Stamford Bridge as we await the first goal in this all-Premier League encounter. Half-time, it is Chelsea 0, Aston Villa 0.
Talksport 2, official broadcast partner of the Premier League and the EFL. The Emirates FA Cup live on Talksport 2 with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup and Adobe Women's FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
Sometimes running a business can feel like swimming upstream in Siberia. With a bear clinging onto your leg. But Xero online accounting software can help you manage the ins and outs of your finances in real time, so you can keep them running smoothly. Soon it will feel more like you're going down a water slide.
Your turn.
In a rubber ring. Or being serenaded by a string quartet. Search Xero with an X, because healthy business is beautiful business.
At Lidl, we're always big on quality and little on price. With super-powered savings on all your weekly staples, fresh deals on your 5 a day, and big brands that don't break the bank. You could save over £25 by switching from Asda to Lidl with this week's big shop at lidl.co.uk/save. Prices check 22nd of Jan 24. Asda also sell other products. See online for more details.
It's the UK's biggest used car sale, with savings on over 20,000 used cars. It's Arnold Clark's only sale of the year. The real sale is back. It's the sale you don't want to miss. Nobody does it bigger. Nobody does it better. The Arnold Clark Real Sale is now on. For stock verification and to find the car you're looking for, visit arnoldclark.com.
You'll only remember that sound if you're from the 90s, a time when the World Wide Web was still taking off. Dial-up was the thing, and McDonald's started cracking only free-range eggs, fresh every day, to use in all our McMuffins. It's just one of the little changes McDonald's have been constantly making to the way we source our food over the years. McDonald's. Change a little, change a lot.
EFL All Access, Monday night from 6 on Talksport 2.
Brilliant corner! Brilliant goal!
Join me, Hugh Wizencroft, and a wide range of big-name exclusives and hard-hitting analysis across the 3 leagues.
Superheated comment.
A performance is as important as a result right now.
Expert analysis.
You can't carry players like that.
EFL All Access.
The highs, the lows, you never know what's coming next.
Monday night from 6 on Talksport 2.
What a finish!
The unstoppable sport of live football.
FA Cup live
on Talksport 2.
You are listening to Talksport 2 and our coverage of the FA Cup 4th round tie between Chelsea and Aston Villa. So let's take a look at the half-time highlights in partnership with Carling.
FA Cup half-time highlights on Talksport 2 with Carling, the UK's #1 lager. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
Begin to Diaby on the edge of the area. Diaby with a left-footed shot, takes a deflection, and it's going to be turned in from point-blank range by Douglas Luiz. But the goal has been ruled out for handball. That is an almighty let-off for the League Cup finalists. Oh, and a brilliant take by Palmer. Madueke with a shot. Excellent save by the legs of Martinez. That would have been a sensational team goal. Oh, and Palmer has been past the ball in the area, and his shot is saved by the legs of Martinez. It's a massive let-off for Aston Villa. Sterling's found Palmer. Clever run to the near post. Palmer cuts it back towards Madueke, and from point-blank range, he shoots straight at Martinez. Well-created opportunity that maybe Chelsea should have done better with. Those were the half-time highlights, all thanks to Carling.
FA Cup half-time highlights on Talksport 2 with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
So that's how the first half sounded here at Stamford Bridge, but the live sport never stops on Talksport 2, and after we're done, we'll be bringing you the PGA Tour Golf as the third round of the Farmers Insurance Open gets underway. Ollie Thornton will be your host, but let's get some reaction now to a story that has rocked the footballing world today as Jurgen Klopp announced he'll be leaving Liverpool at the end of the season.
Bombshell news if you're a Liverpool fan, because Jurgen Klopp is to step down from Liverpool at the end of this season.
The news when Bill Shankly back in 1974 when he was retiring, this is as devastating as that news was to people.
Liverpool are the European champions for 2019.
When you start hearing a manager with those kind of characteristics and those kind of credentials talk about not necessarily thinking about managing again, needing another thing in life, needing to be a normal person in life, it takes me to a place that something else is going on here.
Liverpool's 19th title. They are the Premier League champions of 2019-2020.
Every single Liverpool supporter will accept that. Disappointment, yes, but accept that. But wish them well and thank them for everything.
After all the years we had together and after all the time we spent together and after all the things we went through together, the respect grew for you, the love grew for you, and the least thing I owe you is the truth. And that's the truth.
The golf follows straight after we're finished here at Stamford Bridge, but don't forget, in the early hours of tomorrow morning, you can hear live and exclusive coverage of England's Test series in India as the first Test heads into day 3 on Talksport 2 and on the Talksport Cricket YouTube channel. Here's how day 2 sounded.
Here's Root once again, and that one is driven straight back to him. Root's taking a return catch. Jaiswal's gone. Root's done it in the first over of the morning.
And it's going to be another boundary to start the over. So KL Rahul starting to flex his arms here a bit.
Hartley in once again. Gill clips it to mid-wicket and he's caught. England have a second wicket of the morning. Duckett takes the catch and Hartley has his first international wicket. Off the back foot, punch, square out on the offside. That's in control all the way. That's 4 runs.
They do say that the quicker it comes, the quicker it goes.
India have taken the lead here.
Down the wicket comes Jadeja and he's launched this over deep mid-wicket. This is Ravindra Jadeja at his absolute best. Got to the pitch of it, the speed of a ballerina, and hit it with the power of a heavyweight. Bang!
And Jadeja is on 52, yet another half century. This crowd loves him. Out comes the sword celebration.
Slapped away, back past the bowler. Oh, and he's gone for the slog sweep this time. Back-to-back boundaries. This one's gone all the way for 6. Here's the last ball of the day, and Akshar Patel has gone for it again. He's finished the day 4-6-4, and it feels like another nail in England's coffin. India will finish the day on 421 for 7 and a lead of 175.
So a dominant day for India, but let's get some reaction from the English camp. Following the day's play, Talksport's Andrew McKenna caught up with England bowling coach Jitan Patel.
Jitan, close of day 2, a lead of 175 for India. What's the thoughts from the England camp?
Do you know what? I think we put in a good shift today. The boys grafted really hard, created some chances. A lot didn't go our way. On other days it does, and I know we've said that before, but the reality is they put in a hell of a shift, and to still create opportunities, they've also batted really well, and what seems to be the wicket is spinning, but it is starting to get slower. So look, it's been a tough day for us in terms of how the boys are feeling physically, but they'll come back tomorrow and they'll go again.
Let's wind back the clock several hours. Perfect start to the day, Joe Root getting the wicket in the first over, and anything seemed possible back then.
Oh, look, we spoke about that. We get an early one, we get Jaiswal early, and it takes away their impetus, and it did slow them down for a bit. But they managed to score boundaries at the right times and right overs. You know, maybe we leaked a little bit forward the spinners occasionally, but overall, I think we asked some great questions, and they had to respect a lot of what we bowled at them. They're very good players in these conditions. We've got to keep trying to match them, that's all.
And a reminder, you can hear live and exclusive coverage of England's Test Series in India right here on Talksport 2 and on the Talksport Cricket YouTube channel. That's in the early hours of tomorrow morning from 3:30 a.m. Over on Talksport right now, it is Tottenham 0, Manchester City 0, and we've got a feast of FA Cup football coming your way across the Talksport network this weekend. 3 live commentaries on Saturday, either here on Talksport 2 or over on Talksport. We start with Ipswich against Maidstone. That's a 12:30 kickoff on Talksport. 3 o'clock here on Talksport 2. This one's not on UK television. It's an all Premier League tie between Everton and Luton. At 7 o'clock tomorrow night, Talksport brings you Fulham against Newcastle. And on Sunday, 3 more live commentaries. West Brom Wolves, a Black Country derby, is an 11:45 kickoff. Then it's off to Anfield on what will be an emotional occasion following Jurgen Klopp's announcement. He's standing down as Liverpool manager at the end of the season. They take on Norwich in a 2:30 kickoff, and at 4:30, Newport against Manchester United. And also in the FA Cup 4th round. We finish the FA Cup weekend on Monday night here on Talksport 2. Blackburn against the Hollywood Boys of Wrexham. Scott Minto is alongside me, Alex Crook at Stamford Bridge. 0-0 between Chelsea and Villa at half-time. Scott, what are we expecting in the second half?
I think more of the same, really. I think Chelsea only know how to play one way, that is going forward. I think Aston Villa would be happy to have kept it to 0-0 at half-time, like they have tried to do on many occasions this season away from home. They're just not quite the same team away from home. They don't play with that same intensity as if they're at Villa Park, and you can understand that, I suppose. So, look, we know what happened earlier in the season. I've mentioned it a couple of times already. I do think Chelsea have played better and are in a better place mentally than they were in that game earlier in the season, but they will still worry the fact that it is 0-0, the fact they have created chances, they haven't been able to score, and Ollie Watkins has hardly been in the game because that is similar to what happened, and he ended up scoring the winner. But I still, if I was going to be a member of either of these two sides, I'd rather be a member of Chelsea's just because they have played better. And I think Pochettino would be saying, look, just carry on doing what you're doing, carry on creating the chances and just be a bit more clinical. I wonder how many times he said that at half-time.
Well, and that's the problem, isn't it? There's a precedent, isn't there, when Chelsea dominate games. We've seen it here at Stamford Bridge in particular. They don't get the goal they deserve, and then they end up conceding.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit different in terms of atmosphere around here. I think the fans can see what Pochettino's trying to do. I think the results have been there. We talked about 7 straight home wins in all competitions. So that's created a bit of confidence, or shall we say, less nervousness around the bridge. So I think even if things aren't going too well, that nervousness isn't being transmitted onto the players. And I can tell you, everyone can turn around and say, well, hold on a minute, they're being paid thousands of pounds of money a week to be able to deal with that, but it's a lot easier when the fans are behind you and with you than they are being very agitated by what you're doing. And as I say, I think they'll be pleased with the performance. They'll just be frustrated they're not at least 1-0 up.
Leicester City take on Birmingham in an all-championship tie in the FA Cup this weekend, and Leicester subject of some breaking transfer news. Talksport understands Brighton are in talks with the Foxes over a move for their midfielder Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. Brentford and Fulham, I'm told, also showing interest. Leicester would want £30 million to sell Dewsbury-Hall. Would that be a good signing for Brighton this window?
Yeah, I think he's another player that Brighton can sniff out those type of players that would fit into their system very well. A lot more money than obviously they've paid for, should we say, someone like Caicedo, who I think they bought for 4 million and sold for 115. But still, I think it would be a good signing. I think he would add to the squad. With them being in Europe as well, they found it a bit more difficult this season, but still doing really well in the Premier League. What I would say for Leicester is, it's got to be a minimum of, because if he can help take them to automatic promotion, the last thing they need now is to drop into the playoff places. They need to make sure they get one of the 2 automatic places. So I personally want to keep my best players and get there and take the riches of what the Premier League has and guarantee it that way. If they believe they can get 30 million and still go up, well, it's a judgment call.
Yeah, £30 million would match Brighton's transfer record. They paid that for João Pedro of Watford earlier in the season. Transfer deadline day, of course, on Thursday. Wall-to-wall coverage on Talksport, on Talksport 2 and on Talksport.com. And as the window slams shut, as always, I'll be alongside Jim White bringing you the final deals as they go through right the way up until midnight on deadline day night.
How manic are those days for you?
Usually very manic.
You are the transfer guru, and that day is just mental, isn't it?
Absolutely, it will be early start, late finish, but we absolutely love it, and hopefully the window will start to spring into action. It's been quite slow to this point. The two teams back out here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea ready to go in the second half against Aston Villa. No change in personnel, and it will be the visitors from Villa Park who get us underway. They are wearing claret jerseys with sky blue sleeves, white shorts and claret socks. They're attacking the shed end in this second half where their travelling supporters are situated. Chelsea in the blue shirts and shorts, white socks, shooting from left to right. And they will be aiming towards the Matthew Harding stand as Villa kick us back underway. A reminder of the two lineups: Chelsea with Petrovic in goal, who's been underworked so far. Gilchrist, Thiago Silva, Disasi and Badiashile, their back four. Caicedo and Fernandes, the holding midfield pair. Sterling, Gallagher and Madueke in behind. Cole Palmer up front for Villa. Martinez, the goalkeeper. Cash, Konsa, Longley, Moreno, the back four. Tillemans, Kamara, Douglas Luiz and McGinn, a very narrow midfield with Diaby and Watkins up front. First yellow card of the second half has been shown already to Yuri Tillemans for a challenge that's left Caicedo in a heap on the floor. Is that a fair decision from Rob Jones, the referee, Scott?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we've seen Caicedo go down quite a few times. I'd like him to be a little bit stronger when he does get fouled, sort of get up and show that it doesn't really bother him. But the modern day player, even the one that protects the back four, doesn't seem to do that nowadays. But what I would say is it's in a very good position for Chelsea if the right ball can be put in.
Well, Palmer, very technically talented, stands over the set piece. Madueke there as well. Pochettino just issuing some orders from the edge of his technical area. We're in that black trench coat.
I prefer a right-footed player here to just out-swinging free kick rather than in-swinging that quite often ends up in the keeper's hands.
Palmer has darted over the top of the ball. Palmer plays it short to the edge of the area, but it wasn't a brilliant ball for Gallagher. Quickly, the Villa defence were able to press, and they've been forced back towards halfway here. Chelsea. Palmer with a much better delivery this time, floated it out to the left-hand side, and Sterling, he's up against John McGinn down by the corner flag. And then it's slid forward for Gallagher. Gallagher's made a dart to the edge of the 6-yard box, crosses to the far post. Palmer just tried to hook it goalwards, and he fires wide, and it remains 0-0.
Well, two things there. First of all, why didn't he put the ball in a little bit earlier that he ended up doing 5 or 6 seconds later, 15 yards further back? The second of all, wonderful technique. The ball was kind of floating high, and very difficult to meet that properly. And yes, he didn't quite hit the target, but at least he kept the ball down. It just needed someone, a Chelsea player, almost to read that and be that goal poacher and stick the ball in the back of the net that would have only been 6 or 7 yards out.
He's got 11 goals this season, Cole Palmer, including a couple here in midweek. As Villa come forward with Watkins towards the edge of the penalty area, into Diaby, who from a very tight angle fires tamely into the gloves of Petrovic at the near post. But it is at least a shot on target for Villa. They haven't had many.
No, that's just about to say. I mean, Aston Villa can't keep on just sitting back and being happy without the ball, and Chelsea creating chances but not scoring. And at some point they have to try and attack. And at the moment it is Chelsea on top, as it was in the first half.
0-0 at half-time. Over on Talksport, between Spurs and Man City, we have had a goal at Hillsborough, where Coventry have taken the lead against Sheffield Wednesday, having won there in the Championship recently. Coventry right on half-time, Talk with the goal. Coventry City former winners under the late great John Sillick, looking like they're potentially heading into the round of 16.
1987.
Good knowledge, Scott Minto.
I played in the FA Youth Cup final against Coventry that week.
Did you win?
We lost an extra time.
So they did the double.
2 legs, they did
Coventry
double.
City.
17,000 people watching it for an FA Youth Cup game, which is unheard of then, but that was because their first team were in the final 4 days later.
Sadly, times have rarely been so good since for the Sky Blues, but ahead tonight, no goals here at Stamford Bridge. We've played 5 minutes in the second half. It's still Chelsea 0, Aston Villa 0. Everybody was talking up goals in that game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, so inevitable that it's 0-0 at half-time. Don't think we expected a glut of goals here.
No, we thought it'd be tight. We know Aston Villa are a very well-structured side. It'll be down to Chelsea to get on the front foot.
Sterling running at Cash, cross into the penalty area towards Palmer, but cleared by Concert. Back out to Sterling on that far side again. He's been dispossessed by Cash, and this is where Villa will look to try and counter with Kamara. Still not been overly impressed by Moises Caicedo in midfield tonight, Scott.
No, he hasn't been great, and I was just about to talk about Raheem Sterling as well. You know, at times he's tried to run at Matty Cash, and Cash has done very well not diving in at all, and it's Sterling who's made the mistake. And I just wonder, at some point, it's a player I love and I want to see him playing really well and really getting back into the England squad, but at the moment, this type of form he won't.
Oh, it's given away by Kamara on the edge of the penalty area, though. Gallagher with a cross, too close to Martinez, who takes the ball cleanly and then half volleys it forward, looking to release Diaby. Cross comes Axel Disasi, and he clears it away towards Gilchrist, and now Thiago Silva just knocks it forward for Caicedo. Right on cue, he gives it away, and Villa have a throw midway inside their own half, and it's still goalless here on Talksport 2.
Yeah, and we're getting to the point, I think in the next 5 or so minutes, where Pochettino will think to himself, OK, how can I improve this? We are on top, but which individual is not quite at it, and someone off the bench can be a little bit better? You know, what I would say is I think Raheem Sterling's not been at it, but you know, who is that? Mudryk, he wasn't great the other night, and surprisingly enough, as an attacking option, he might start thinking about Ben Chilwell.
Yeah, you wonder how many minutes ideally they want to give Chilwell tonight, having only recently come back from injury. Saw Reece James out there watching the warm-ups. They could do with him getting fit as soon as possible as well. Those two fullbacks so important to how Chelsea play. Both of them will be hoping that they can stay fit between now and the end of the season and work their way into the England squad for the Euros.
Crooker, we know how important the fullback position is.
Definitely got more important since '97.
Now, what I would say is, you know, and it's unfortunate for Chelsea, I think when Chilwell and Reece James are fit, they are such a good side, really solid defensively, but so good going forward. You know, honestly, I think they take them to another level, even though it's not the most important position on the pitch, but they are that good.
Madueke's made a run. He's been spotted by Disasi. He's up against Moreno. He's turned away from the fullback, and he's made his way to the edge of the penalty area. He's going to shoot left-footed, and he curls it just wide. Well, that was really purposeful and positive from Noni Madueke, who I think has been penalised for a foul on Moreno right at the start of that move, and he's far from impressed.
I don't know why he was penalised there. Was it a push? He was the one on the ball. Moreno's trying to tackle him. Seemed to me initially that he was just a lot stronger than Moreno.
You can understand his frustration, and also it took a long time for the referee to actually pull the play back there. He went all the way to the edge of the area, got his shot away, and then they pulled it back for the free kick. Not quite sure why Rob Jones decided to let play go on for so long. Here's Moreno, dinks the ball forward to Diaby, well controlled by Watkins inside the centre circle. McGinn can turn and find Tielemans. Just showed a little bit too much of that to Madueke, who again has given away the foul. Maybe a little bit of overflow in the frustration, having had the earlier decision go against him. It was a poor touch from Tielemans. I'm not sure Madueke really needed to dive in.
No, I agree. It was a poor touch from Tielemans, and if it had just been a little bit more defensively minded, then I think he would have just got his body in between him and the ball instead of trying to tackle him. And he has given a free kick away. It was a free kick.
You just get the impression, even at this early stage, 9 minutes into the second half, 0-0, the first goal in this game could well be a crucial one.
Absolutely.
Villa have the free kick, taken short and then played back to Douglas Luiz, and he spotted the runner Moreno. It's a perfectly weighted ball as well, cross into the area, is headed away by Disasi and out for a Villa throw down by the left corner flag.
Just need to be careful, Chelsea, don't they? Aston Villa starting to try and get forward a little bit more, getting in behind Chelsea in the way that Chelsea got in behind Villa in the first half. Moreno with his great left foot actually should have done better. It was good defending from Disasi.
I wonder if we might see Leon Bailey in the not too distant future, a player I think's really improved this season under Unai Emery. Certainly has played a lot more minutes, managed to keep himself fitter for longer than he did last year. Madueke has the ball well inside his own half for Chelsea, away to our left. 0-0 the score. We've played 10 minutes in the second half. It's launched upfield by Chelsea. Sterling's onside. He's into the penalty area. Can he pull it back for Gallagher, who's made a good run? Still Sterling inside the box. He got the shot away. Blocked by Kamara. Maybe just took too long in possession there, Sterling. But still Chelsea come forward. Madueke slides it into the box and looks for Gallagher, who's offside. It's a free kick for Aston Villa. Should Sterling have looked to have picked out a teammate much sooner there than in the end he got the shot off.
Yeah, I think once he's gone in behind, he's cut inside, you either have a shot there or you lay it off. And the fact he's taken another touch to come inside and then try and shoot, it gives the Villa defence time to be able to just get back and block the shot. So yeah, you know, he had an opportunity, didn't quite happen, then lay it off, see who's in a better position. But I agree with you about Leon Bailey. I think wasn't quite sure whether he had a Villa career, then Emery took over, and I think he's definitely improved under him. And Diaby's been quiet, hasn't he, in that sort of position as the second striker. Villa haven't been great. They have looked a little bit better and sharper and look as if they wanted to attack a bit more in the second half, but I do think that would be a positive substitution if he were to come on.
I mentioned Villa have won their last 2 games against Chelsea, not won 3 in a row since way back in 1984. They're not winning this one, but they will feel the longer it stays 0-0, the more that Chelsea might get desperate, might leave themselves open on the counter-attack, and Villa could capitalise with the one big chance that comes their way. Here's Douglas Luiz, back towards the halfway line, playing it into the centre circle for Compson. Now Douglas Luiz again. The Brazilian looking for the runner, Moreno, and Gilchrist sliding in. Turn what was a poor pass into Moreno. Douglas Luiz with a shot from a long way out, but needed saving from Petrovic down to his left. I think Douglas Luiz was maybe bargaining. The goalkeeper wasn't fully alert. Watkins was darting in there as well. If it had taken a deflection, it could have been interesting in the end. It's relatively comfortable.
Well, it would have been interesting because Watkins looked as if he's in an offside position, but he didn't actually touch the ball, but it still could have affected Petrovic and whether he thought he was going to touch the ball at all. So yeah, the fact that he saved it means that we don't have to worry about VAR.
Here come Villa again. Ball aimed in towards Diaby on the edge of the area, but scoots away from him and all the way through to the Serbian Petrovic, the penalty hero here in the League Cup quarter-final when Chelsea beat Newcastle, setting up that 2-legged tie with Middlesbrough. Enzo Fernandez with a raking pass out to the right-hand side has found Madueke. That travelled fully 60 yards. It's plucked from the sky by Madueke, linking up with Gilchrist, who's well forward from full-back. And here's the yellow-booted Madueke again, midway inside Villa territory. Still goalless on Talksport 2 in this all-Premier League FA Cup 4th round tie under the lights at Stamford Bridge. Caicedo plays the ball to his left and Fernandez. Now Sterling. Again trying to run at Matty Cash. It's been a battle at the moment that Cash has come out on top. Caicedo again, back to the halfway line, and Axel Disasi. Madueke forward to Cole Palmer. Not mentioned him much so far in this second half, but he's got a chance here, Palmer, maybe to get across into the area. Into the feet of Gallagher. Gallagher across the 6-yard line and steered away by Konsa. Good defending again. Palmer crosses, slams it against Tielemans, and Chelsea win a throw.
It's a really good game now, isn't it, in the second half? Aston Villa starting to open up, but Chelsea still trying to attack as much as possible as well. And you're right, we haven't seen as much of Palmer in the second half we saw in the first. Really important he gets in the ball as much as possible.
Here's Gallagher. Finds Gilchrist on the right-hand side. Caicedo dances away from Diaby, but Chelsea have gone back inside their own half to Thiago Silva. And it's the Aston Villa fans whose voices are filling the West London air at the moment. They sense maybe their team have an opportunity here to book a place in round 5. 0-0 the score. Madueke out to Sterling. Got a bit of space this time, Sterling. Quickly closed down by Cash, but he's still in possession. The England international gets into the penalty area, and Cash tracks him all the way and prods it behind for a Chelsea corner.
It is a really good battle between those two, and Matty Cash is probably just edging it, but again, still from a fullback's point of view, when you've got a winger running at you and someone the class, the ability of Raheem Sterling, you're never quite sure, and he takes that one time for him to do the trick and go past you, set up a goal, and suddenly it's all about him and not you.
As the voice of Scott Minto, former Chelsea defender. Hour gone here on Talksport 2. Still we await the first goal of the evening. Chelsea have a corner in front of the Matthew Harding stand away to our right. Palmer with a delivery, left-footed out swinger, headed down by Gilchrist, and Villa have cleared it away, and they might counter here. Aston Villa, Chelsea are committed bodies forward. Oh, it's poor from Moreno. Passes it straight to Petrovic.
Well, he knew what he needed to do. There was him and Diaby who had broken forward, and there was only one Chelsea player, but it would have taken some kind of contortionist to have put in the ball like that.
Yeah, Moreno frustrated that he didn't make more of that. Both teams have got subs warming up. Ben Chilwell out there alongside Mudryk for Chelsea. Bailey has been warming up for much of this second half for Aston Villa. You wonder if one of those could come on and make a real difference in the final half an hour, as we search for a winner and avoid, I think, what for both teams would be an unwanted replay, maybe for Villa in particular. Although we all know about their formidable home record, Chelsea will feel their best chance of qualifying is by getting the job done tonight. Here's Tielemans skipping away from Madueke, back to Kamara, 10 yards inside the Chelsea half. Now they go back for Longley, and the Frenchman plays it forward to Douglas Luiz. Diaby trying to race in behind Gilchrist. Douglas Luiz has passed it too far ahead of Moreno, and Chelsea will have a throw in front of Unai Emery's technical area. 0-0.
A good pressing though from Cole Palmer. He's able to do that side of the game as well as have great ability on the ball. That's what makes him such a good player, and what also makes him have the ability to play that false 9. I don't think it really suits him. He's better as a 10. But without Chelsea having a real top-class number 9, he can do a job.
Well, Chelsea fans are furious there because it looked like Moreno rugby tackled Madueke. The referee said no, play on. And they're looking to release Diaby down this left-hand side. The pass is well ahead of him and out for a goal kick, and tempers just a little bit frayed all of a sudden. Madueke again right at the heart of it.
And he's just going to the fourth official, and he's hugging himself as if like, that's what he's trying to do to me, had both arms around me. Well, just play on.
Chelsea are going to make that change that Scott Minto suggested. Ben Chilwell is ready for action, just getting his final instructions from Maurizio Pochettino. It will be only his 9th appearance of the season. Interesting to see what role he's going to be asked to fulfill. Here is Madueke on the right-hand side for Chelsea. Certainly he's been the much more productive of the two wide players, and he's cutting in field here on his left foot, tries to pick out Palmer, but it's cleared away by Konsa, who's having an excellent night at the heart of the Aston Villa defence. Ezri Konsa. Fernandes dinks it out to Sterling. Again, he's got the head start on Cash, and Sterling into the area. Try to pull it back right-footed. Cash slides in and blocks.
Brilliant defending again from Matty Cash. I have to say, really good full-back play.
Chelsea 0, Aston Villa 0. 64 minutes gone. You're listening to Talksport 2 with Alex Crook and Scott Minto. In fact, still the only goal in the 4 FA Cup fourth-round ties tonight has come at Hillsborough, where it remains Sheffield Wednesday 0, Coventry 1. Goalless between Bristol City and Forest. Forest, who needed a replay to see off Blackpool of League One in the last round, and 0-0 at half-time over on Talksport between Spurs and Man City. Don't think either of those two will want a replay either. Could be a lot of either-ors in the 5th round draw live on Talksport on Sunday afternoon.
He's waiting, Ben Chilwell, isn't he? I mean, look, Raheem Sterling hasn't had the best of games.
It might change now because they're looking to pick him out inside the area. Martinez again quickly off his line, and Sterling was just a little hesitant there as the goalkeeper came bearing down on him, and Martinez clears away upfield.
Yeah, to be fair to him, it was a little bit too straight, the ball. It was a good run from Sterling. I was about to say, although he's not had the best of games, I hope Chilwell doesn't come on for him. He did play left midfield in the very early part of the season, the beginning of it. You know, I'd take Badiashile off, and he's done a very good job at left back, but he's not a left back. Ben Chilwell's not only a left back, but he can really bomb on as well, and him and Raheem Sterling down that left-hand side, I think, can really cause damage.
Well, it's going to be young Gilchrist who is making way for Chelsea. And he gets a standing ovation from the Stamford Bridge crowd. Kingston born, not too far from here. And they clearly, Scott Minto, have appreciated his efforts this evening.
Yes, they have. Chelsea do love an academy player. They don't want academy players to go. We'll have to see whether one of them, in the shape of Conor Gallagher, does or not. But, you know, I think the important thing was Ben Chilwell will go at left back. There'll be some shuffling in the back four. Not surprised to see that happen. He's decided to take off the youngster and then shuffle that across. But I think down that left-hand side, Chilwell will look to bomb on as much as possible.
Well, what that means is that Thiago Silva, from the original back four, is the only player who stayed in position. Disasi's come to right back now. Badiashile, having started at left back, has gone into play alongside Thiago Silva, and Chilwell takes up his usual position.
Well, I think that was the aim originally, wasn't it, before Levi Colwill actually got injured in the warm-up, to have him as left back and then the rest as it is now.
Well, we'll have to ask Mauricio Pochettino post-match about that injury. Looked like a knee problem suffered by Colwill just before kick-off. And that enforced the change. Aston Villa have a free kick here, around about 25 yards inside the Chelsea half. In fact, the referee is just making Douglas Luiz retreat to around about 9 yards inside Chelsea territory, and he's carrying it forward again, Douglas Luiz. All a bit pantomime, this.
Oh, no, it isn't.
Very good. Although it's nearly February, I'm not sure you can do those gags anymore.
You brought it up.
Did occur to me earlier, actually, that if the Cash family keep their Christmas decorations up in the attic, when Matty goes up to bring them down, there's a cache in the attic.
Oh, no. So I see tumbleweeds going past. That's at least a yellow, says producer Sal. Is it yellow or red? Straight red. Yellow, okay.
67 gone, Chelsea nil, Aston Villa nil. And we got a delay here because there's an Aston Villa player down injured over on the far side. Villa better in this second half, offering more attacking intent.
Yeah, I've just about recovered from that joke now, Cookie. Yeah, absolutely, I think they are. I think they've tried to step it up. As I say, quite often away from home, they are quite happy to try and keep it to 0-0 if they can at half-time, and then try and go at them a little bit more. But to be fair, as much as they've tried to do that, they've still been on the back foot. It's still been Chelsea have been the side looking more likely to score. But again, how many times have we said that this season?
Well, you are listening to Chelsea against Aston Villa in the FA Cup on Talksport 2 with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18+. Please drink responsibly. Ball at the feet of Emi Martinez, all in green, the Villa goalkeeper, and he slammed it against Cole Palmer, and Cole Palmer has completely miscued the shot, and Martinez is the most relieved man inside Stamford Bridge. What an opportunity for Palmer to put Chelsea in front.
Oh my goodness, and out of all the people on the pitch for Chelsea, who you'd want that to fall to is Cole Palmer. I'm just thinking he's going to have the composure, which we've seen him before, to take the ball down, maybe even take a second touch and side foot it into the side of the net. And he tried to take it first time, which was such a difficult skill. Wow, Emi Martinez got away with that one.
And Cole Palmer tonight is having the type of night in front of goal that he had against Middlesbrough in the first leg. Two big chances he's passed up now, as Villa come forward, and it's headed over the top of the bar by Moreno at the far post. It was a difficult header from an acute angle, and he couldn't quite pull it off. 0-0.
Yeah, and it's just a warning, isn't it, to Chelsea? Creating all those chances, but you better beware. Aston Villa are a very, very good side. And they got some good technical players in their team. There's a good ball to the far post. Yeah, it was stretching a little bit, but again, just a warning sign that, okay, Villa aren't out of this. .69 on the clock.
Unai Emery very animated down on the touchline, just reorganising his team as Petrovic takes this goal kick. They're going to pick out Madueke over the halfway line. It will be knocked back to Martinez. And now Kamara on the edge of the Villa penalty area. And then a miscue clearance by Cash, but it falls kindly for John McGinn. McGinn into Douglas Luiz, and here's Yuri Tillemans now on the edge of the penalty area. Watkins, can he find Diaby at the far post? Good defending to Sassi, sliding in, blocking the cross, and Villa have only their second corner of the evening. Scott Minto.
Yeah, great defending from Disasi there. The last thing he would have allowed or wanted Watkins to do is come inside on his right foot, his better foot, and it would have opened up the goal. But Villa now with the fans behind them as well. I'll tell you what, it's become a really good game. Do you know what, it's maybe 0-0, but I'm really enjoying this.
And Villa certainly have come on strongly in this second half. They have had 11 days since their last game. I wonder if that might be a factor in these last 20 minutes. Chelsea having played as recently as Tuesday in the second leg of their League Cup semi-final. Douglas Luiz with a disappointing corner, but it's kept alive by Tillemans. It feels a handball against him, not given. And here's McGinn, having been picked out by Douglas Luiz. McGinn's cross is a decent one, headed away as far as Cash. Douglas Luiz with a shot, blocked by Thiago Silva. All of a sudden Chelsea having to put bodies on the line to keep Villa at bay, 0-0.
It's become a basketball match now, isn't it? Chelsea still going for it, but now Aston Villa are. Again, we talked about how they're quite happy to keep a clean sheet to a certain point, then they try and step it up. They are doing just that.
And the Aston Villa fans responding with an extra dollop of vocal encouragement. Try telling them the FA Cup has lost its sparkle. They'd love a prolonged run in this competition. They'd love a trophy. Aston Villa. And they'll feel that Unai Emery, given his track record, is the man to deliver it. Martinez with the ball forward, but he's only found his opposite number, all in black, Georgi Petrovic.
Well, game opening up now, isn't it? You can see more spaces on the pitch as players are starting to get a bit more tired, but also trying to step it up, and that's coming from Aston Villa. And while Villa have looked more dangerous in the last few minutes, it can mean that maybe there can be more space and ability for Chelsea to counter-attack as well.
Armando Broja out warming up for Chelsea. You surprised we've not seen him yet?
No, not really, because Chelsea have been the better side, but I would stick him on in the next few minutes, because now we're coming up to the, we're just past the 70-minute mark. I think with about 15 minutes to go plus injury time, with his pace in behind, he just adds something different.
There is Longley, looks a bit uncomfortable in the left-back position. Has managed to recycle possession back for Kamara, and he in turn has played it forward to McGinn. McGinn with room to run into, and he comes over the halfway line, unchallenged, out to Tillemans on this left-hand side, back to the Scotland international McGinn, and he's played a blind pass straight to Raheem Sterling. Now Caicedo picks it up for Chelsea, halfway inside his own half of the field. And Badiashile has shown too much of it to Diaby, and here's Watkins inside the area. Watkins will shoot, good save. Petrovic at the near post. First time that Watkins has really had a sighter at goal, got it on target, couldn't beat the keeper.
And it was a mistake, wasn't it, from Chelsea? We've seen that a few times this season, and now the crowd are just starting to get frustrated as Villa step it up.
Douglas Luiz into McGinn, trying to find Diaby, and that was a really important touch by Chilwell. Tell you what, Villa are suddenly the dominant force in this FA Cup tie.
Just in the last few minutes, they have stepped it up. Unai Emery delighted with what he's seen. Pochettino just pacing the touchline. Wonder whether he is going to make another change in the next few minutes. At the moment, just in the last few minutes, it has been Villa.
Longley, left-footed ball into Watkins, brilliant control from Watkins, and he's away from Thiago Silva, and he's managed to pick out Matty Cash. Cash has got the Diaby free to his left. Cash shoots left-footed, brilliant save, Petrovic. That was heading for the bottom corner, and Petrovic has denied Cash the opener.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a sign of a top-class goalkeeper that he doesn't have too much to do, but then makes a save like that. But how on earth did Matty Cash have so much space? It was almost a 2v1. Ben Chilwell got back, but he cuts inside on his left foot. Really good strike, aiming for the far post. Wonderful save from Petrovic.
0-0, but Aston Villa getting closer to storming Stamford Bridge and claiming a winner in this second half. Douglas Luiz, deep delivery to the far post, and Chilwell did really well with McGinn coming in, I think it was, just to get himself between player and ball. Longley, in fact, was the nearest Villa man, and it's behind for a goal kick, and it stays goalless on Talksport 2. Here comes a Chelsea change. Mykhailo Mudryk is being readied.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Sterling. Well, to be fair, he could take off either the two wide players. Obviously, Mudryk likes to play on the left. You could take off Madueke, but Sterling on the right. Madueke's been very quiet just in the last 10 or so minutes, and it's not been the night for Sterling, but at least he's tried to go at Matty Cash all the time. Maybe, just maybe, it'd be better for him over the other side and put Mudryk on the left.
It's going to be a double change, in fact, because all of a sudden Armando Broja has appeared as well. Here's Diaby, though. Villa coming forward again. Cash on the overlap. Oh, he's looking to pick out Watkins, and it's turned behind by Thiago Silva. It's going to be another corner, and those Villa fans who are filling the shed end, they suddenly believe that their team can win this FA Cup tie.
My goodness, it's almost like rope-a-dope, isn't it? Come on, you come at us for 60, 70 minutes, and then we're going to pick you off. Really good defending, great positioning from Thiago Silva, using all his experience. But it is Aston Villa on the front foot now.
52% possession in this second half, Aston Villa. And they've got a corner. Those Villa fans trying to suck the ball into the back of Georgi Petrovic's net. One good delivery. Could be all it takes here. And that isn't it. Swings it in, it's out of play for a goal kick.
You're absolutely right. One delivery is all it took, and you're absolutely right. It wasn't that. Really poor corner there.
Mudryk is coming on for Madueke. Madueke missed that golden chance in the first half, one-on-one with Martinez, fired straight to the goalkeeper's legs. And Armando Broja is also being introduced by Mauricio Pochettino, a player who I think is going to be the subject of quite a bit of interest in the final week of the transfer window. And it's Raheem Sterling who goes off, so I think we're going to see a change here. Broja will go and play through the middle. Mudryk will replace Sterling on the left of the three in behind, and Cole Palmer is coming over to this right-hand side.
Yeah, he won't be your typical wide player. He'll be looking to come in as much as possible. I'm not surprised, really. We talked about the pace of Broja in behind. Mudryk, for me, I thought he was poor the other night, kept on giving the ball away, but he does add that pace, and when someone's tired, as I'm sure Matty Cash is, although he doesn't look it at the moment, the way he bombed on there, you know, from a fullback's point of view, if you've got someone in your pocket, you want them to stay on your side, but now it's just a different question.
Don't let Adrian Durham hear you saying a footballer is tired. Won't be happy about that.
No, I hope he didn't hear me. We'll have another argument.
Madueke, according to our written colleagues down in the lower press box here at Stamford Bridge, not particularly enamoured with that decision as he made his way off.
No, look, there are going to be people who are unhappy, and rightly so, but it's a team game. If you're playing that well, you're not taken off.
12 minutes to go. No sign of a breakthrough yet, but Villa warming to the task in this second half. Chelsea having dominated the opening 45 minutes. It's a really delicately poised cup tie now. Chilwell plays the ball against McGinn and out for a goal kick. Villa have proved themselves a tough nut to crack. Only 2 defeats in their last 21 games in all competitions. So it won't be a surprise for Mauricio Pochettino that his side have been in a real contest tonight.
Yeah, they're a good side, Cookie. That's why they are where they are in the league. You know, the table suggests they're in the title race. I don't think that's the case, but very good side this season under Emery.
Here's Palmer, plays the ball out to the right-hand side, and Axel Disasi. Disasi with the floated ball into the air. It's nodded back by Cash to his goalkeeper Martinez. Still 0-0. And Martinez has thrown the ball out because I think Cash just pulled up there, and he is going to need some treatment.
I think he's got cramp, but we better not say that means he's tired. He's been superb, I have to say, Matty Cash, and he hasn't always played right back for Aston Villa. Konsa's played there. There's talk about players being brought in as well, but in terms of him defensively and going forward, I really like him as a player. I'm surprised he doesn't play more for Villa. Sometimes it's aimed at his final ball isn't quite good enough. And I must admit, I don't see every single Aston Villa game, but whenever I do watch him, I like him. He tries to attack as much as possible, and he's been brilliant defensively tonight.
Martinez with the ball upfield. Headed away by Axel Disasi. Now Gallagher will pick it up for Chelsea. Here's Cole Palmer in the right wing position now. Breuer's made a run into the penalty area. So too is Gallagher. And Palmer picked out Gallagher. He goes down looking for a penalty. Those Chelsea fans behind the goal screaming for it. I'm not sure there was enough contact.
No, and I don't think VAR will get involved either, even if it was slight contact.
2 VARs on duty tonight. John Brooks and Simon Hooper.
Double trouble.
It's a good piece of play by Kamara, just running across Gallagher there to stop him picking up possession on the edge of the Villa penalty area. Back with Martinez, left-footed clearance away from the Argentine goalkeeper.
Actually, I would like to just mention Simon Hooper. I think was the referee the other night at Craven Cottage. I thought he was absolutely superb. Really refereed very well, as is Rob Jones tonight as well.
A reminder of the scores from elsewhere in the FA Cup 4th round. Bristol City 0, Nottingham Forest 0, 10 minutes to go there. Coventry still lead Sheffield Wednesday in an all-championship tie by a goal to 0 at Hillsborough. They too are into the last 10 minutes, and over on Talksport, half an hour or so to play. It's Spurs 0, Manchester City 0, 0-0 here at Stamford Bridge between Chelsea and Aston Villa on Talksport 2. And Aston Villa are going to go to their bench now. Diego Carlos is coming on, and so too Nicolo Zaniolo. Tielemans, the first player to be replaced. Zaniolo will just add a little bit more natural width in that midfield, and Carlos is coming on for the injured Cash. And that is a disappointing scene for Unai Emery and the travelling Villa fans away to our left.
It is disappointing because I think he's been superb, Matty Cash. I'd imagine Konsa would go right back, Diego Carlos will come into centre-back.
Into the final 8 minutes to the 90. 8 minutes for one of these two to come up with a winning moment.
Next one's the winner, isn't it?
I think it's felt that way for quite a while, certainly for the entirety of this second half. Oh, and Kamara has played a sloppy back pass that Gallagher got onto ahead of Martinez initially, and Martinez came sliding through and cleared away. That was almost a gift for Chelsea. Well played, Martinez. Again, his starting position was good.
I wonder how many times he's saved Aston Villa. I mean, Villa are scoring goals, they're looking at a really good side, but when you've got a world-class goalkeeper there to making those type of decisions, helping mistakes, it was a big one and could have been a big one as well. Makes such a difference.
Linking up with Zaniolo, forward to Diaby. Watkins is offside, so Diaby checks back, and Diaby, I should say, checks back and has been fouled by Caicedo. Free kick for Villa, 15 yards outside the penalty area. Not sure that Caicedo really needed to make that challenge because Diaby had run himself into a little bit of a cul-de-sac.
He's still not quite the player that we saw at Brighton, is he? He's still waiting for that type of consistent form where he was so good that made Chelsea, well, we have to say overspend, but spend what they did, 115 million.
British record signing in the summer window. As Douglas Luiz places the ball down, and again they've sent John McGinn and Diaby actually to stand in offside positions in front of Petrovic. They've come up with some really inventive set-piece routines tonight, Villa. Both players now racing to get onside, and it's forward to Diaby. Mudryk didn't really track his run. Douglas Luiz with the ball towards Kamara at the far post, and it's bundled behind by Breuer for a Villa corner.
Yeah, I could see what they were trying to do there. Two players well offside as they come back. Chelsea switching off. And actually, Diaby didn't quite get the ball that he wanted, and it meant that Mudryk could get back, but what I would say is very much on the back foot now, Chelsea.
Well, the Villa set-piece coach is way outside the technical area and literally orchestrating this corner kick. He's just going to be told by the fourth official to get back in his box, literally. In comes the corner. Douglas Luiz towards the near post. It was off a Chelsea head. Palmer it was, and it's behind for another corner.
He's still out of his box, and he's still trying to be the orchestra.
Did you have set-piece coaches back in your day?
No. No, we worked on set pieces, but we didn't need a set-piece coach.
Austin McPhee is Villa's chief orchestrator from these situations. He looks like a bit of a Viking with his long blonde hair. In comes the corner. And the goalkeeper punches it away, but didn't get a lot of distance on that punch, and it's Konsa on the volley, off balance and not too far wide. 0-0.
Wow, and I just talked about how Petrovic has done really well, but there he's got to either catch it or punch it far. Did neither. And I think he was just looking, he was hoping that the ball was going wide from the shot from Konsa.
Sheffield Wednesday have got a late equaliser against Coventry. 1-1 there. Gassama with the leveller at Hillsborough. So at the moment, all four FA Cup fourth round ties tonight heading for replays. That's the only one that's got goals. They're into the closing minutes at Ashton Gate. Bristol City against Forest. And well into the second half over on Talksport. Tottenham 0, Manchester City 0. 0-0 here between Chelsea and Villa with 4 minutes plus added time to play. Are Villa going to come up with another smash and grab raid at Stamford Bridge? I have to say Chelsea haven't looked like scoring in the last 25 minutes or so.
No, they haven't. Villa have stepped it up. It's been difficult, and even with the substitutions, I think Villa have looked more dangerous.
Here's Moreno into the penalty area. He's gone down looking for a foul. Never a challenge that would have resulted in a free kick. Just brushed shoulders with Caicedo and couldn't wait Moreno to throw himself to the floor. Good refereeing again.
Well, it was ridiculous. There's no way he would have been given a penalty there. He's just giving the ball away almost.
Put it back though, Villa, and they're taking a quick free kick. Watkins releasing Zaniolo down the far side. He's skipped away from Fernandez and he's crossed in towards McGinn, and it's inches away from the far corner. Well, McGinn is claiming the last touch was off a Chelsea defender. Petrovic was rooted to his line and just watched the ball go past the upright.
My goodness me, the Chelsea fans are getting nervous now. Ball whipped in, and they weren't able to handle that. McGinn looked like he did have the last touch in the end. It's a good chance.
Certainly the Villa fans in tremendous voice as we head into the 88th minute at Stamford Bridge. They've lost their last 7 FA Cup ties away from home against a Premier League opponent, going right back to when they beat Everton in the year 2000, Aston Villa. Certainly they deserve at least a replay from their second half efforts, having rode their luck at times in the first 45 minutes, Aston Villa. Here's Breuer though, released through the middle, and the touch is shocking, touch is terrible. It's out for a goal kick.
Do you know what, it was running at pace there and it was bouncing, and that's where you just need that little bit of composure to hold yourself and stop, which not many Chelsea forwards seem to have in the last few years.
Scott Minto defending out of form strikers since the year 1990. Chelsea are making another change here. Enzo Fernandez is being replaced by Kane Chukwuemeka. Chukwuemeka, who made his first appearance since the second game of the season against Middlesbrough in midweek. Actually started the campaign in quite good form before getting injured.
Very good form. I was here at the Bridge in the game against Liverpool, and I thought he was absolutely superb.
And of course he's coming on against Aston Villa, and he's getting dogs abuse from the travelling fans. They did get £20 million for him. as an academy graduate. My understanding is he didn't particularly see eye to eye with Steven Gerrard, hence his move to Stamford Bridge. Here's Palmer, just inside the Chelsea half. He's playing it forward. Breuer has made a run, so too does Sassy, and there's Martinez again. So good with his positioning, and he comes a long way out of his area and clears upfield.
He is, because two Chelsea players are in there. But just again, you talked about his starting point. And that's what we see, not from always from the top goalkeepers, but we see from him all the time, and he just reads the situation. Those balls over the top. Clearly it's been worked on. We talk about the high line. There's no point in having a high line if your goalkeeper's going to stay in his 6-yard box. He's got to be ready for that ball over the top, but he is.
We're about to move into stoppage time at the end of the 90. Leon Bailey, meanwhile, is Villa's latest change. I'm not saying that producer Sal has accepted this game will finish 0-0, but he's just reminded me replays will take place the week beginning February the 6th.
At least he's not gone home.
We could be in trouble if he did, in fairness. But we might see Leon Bailey a little bit earlier. On comes the Jamaican for Moussa Diaby. Scored 6 Premier League goals this season. Bailey. Just 3 added minutes at the end of the 90. And I have to say, watching the FA Cup games this season, that there's a lot less added time than there is in the Premier League. Meanwhile, over on Talksport, James Maddison has just come on for his injury return. Still goalless between Spurs and Manchester City. What a boost for Tottenham to have him back.
I have to be honest, Crookie, from a Tottenham point of view, I don't really care, but from an England point of view, I'm really pleased to see him back.
At least you're honest. Free kick for Chelsea in their right-back position, 0-0 here on Talksport 2, and we've already played nearly a full minute of the 3 added on. Thiago Silva back to Petrovic, the goalkeeper. And he's almost there. Played to Sassy into trouble, or Badiashile rather. In the end, it's launched forward by Thiago Silva and collected by Palmer on the halfway line. This might be the last chance for Chelsea to avoid a replay. But Villa have won it back, and Leon Bailey's got room to turn inside the Chelsea half, and he's played it forward to Moreno. 2 yards in from the touchline on this near side, Moreno. They're going to have to come in field because they're being closed down very quickly. And once again, the Chelsea fans looking to roar their team to the conclusion of this game. Longley into McGinn for Villa. And he fires a pass out to his left-hand side, and Moreno. Unai Emery trying to orchestrate things. That's a good-looking ball into Watkins, who made a clever dart across the penalty area. And then lays it off for McGinn. McGinn with a cross, blocked behind by Badiashile. And Aston Villa will have a corner in the final minute of added-on time.
It was a wonderful ball, wasn't it? A football-intelligent ball from John McGinn, just to split 3 Chelsea players. And Ollie Watkins in behind. Nervy times now for the Chelsea fans.
Well, this would be the winner. Corner from the near side. Douglas Luiz stands over the ball. Everybody in claret, either inside or, in the case of Bailey and McGinn, lurking just on the edge of the Chelsea penalty area. Douglas Luiz with a right-footed in-swinger, headed away by Chilwell, but only back to the corner taker. And Luiz is going to try and beat Cole Palmer, and Palmer just ushers the ball behind. And that may well be that, Scott.
Yeah, and do you know what? Villa have been a lot better in the second half, so you can probably say as much as Chelsea dominated in the first half. I think Villa deserved to get the replay. Neither team wanted it, and I think both teams have tried to avoid it as much as possible, just not been able to have that real bit of quality in the final third where it really mattered.
Petrovic to play the goal kick forward. We've gone over the minimum 3 minutes of stoppage time. Villa have won it back. Watkins trying to head it down on the halfway line. Douglas Luiz takes over. McGinn, intelligent ball out to the right, trying to stretch the play. But Zaniolo can't get the better of Chilwell. He volleys it forward, and that's the last action. These two will need to do it all again at Villa Park in February for a place in the 5th round of the FA Cup. Chelsea's run of 7 successive home victories is over. They had the chances in the first half. Emi Martinez denying Madueke and Cole Palmer. But in the second, Aston Villa really came on strong, and it took a wonderful save down to his right from Georgi Petrovic to deny Matty Cash what would have been the winner. I think on the balance of play, neither side really did enough to win it. And Scott Minto, we are no closer to discovering which of these Premier League sides, which of these former FA Cup winners will take their place in the last 16.
No, absolutely. I think Chelsea will be disappointed they didn't score when they were on top in the first half. But what I do honestly do believe is that Villa would be really happy to take them back to Villa Park, where they are so strong at home.
And what will Mauricio Pochettino have made of his team's efforts? Again, does it underline the need for a proper number 9?
Oh, absolutely. I think we've been saying that for more than 12 months now, haven't we? And I think they know that. You know, they've got talented players, of course, going forward. You know, Cole Palmer can play as a false 9, but he's not a 9 really, and his best position is a 10. So you want him playing off someone. You know, Broja's not quite good enough. I think it's going to be very difficult. Obviously, he's had his injury problems. He needs a run of games, but Pochettino clearly feels he's not willing to give him that, especially with Nicholas Jackson being away as well, who I think has a lot of potential, but is still far off being the number 9 that Chelsea need to take them back to where they are. So, yeah, still issues for Chelsea. That's the big problem in terms of getting a goal scorer. But, you know, they're still, in terms of performance, especially first half, very much on the front foot. I think they are progressing, but just not quite progressing as quickly as Chelsea fans would want.